It's Scrap Series Thursday, and I'm making ephemera out of leftover scraps. Come on in, let me show you.
Hello everybody, it's Julia Laird with Senior Susie Stamps, and today is Thursday, and this is the last of our Scrap Card Thursday series, and I am trying to get ready to assemble some Valentine cards. I have an obligation for about 55. So what I've done is to make little packs, and let me show you, for example, what I've got here. So inside each one of these little packs is a card that I can assemble one-handed. So that's my goal. Now this is some Echo Park paper called Hello Valentine that I cut yesterday, and I have about 10 more cards that I need to get a plan going for. However, I ran out of the Echo Park paper, and so I have a lot of ephemera left, scrap-wise. Not a great deal, but some. And see, this is a nice little pile of ephemera. I only need enough to make 10 cards, so it's not going to be a great deal. But I pulled some paper out of my stash. This is from Stampin' Up, and it's called Sweet Talk. I got this at the end of the season last year, and the pinks kind of work together. Sometimes pink is one of those odd colors like some blues. They just are a challenge to find something that goes with. And then I thought this heart, which is also part of that suite of paper, I thought this heart would work well. Now, all I want to do is to come up with some little ephemera and some card fronts for 10 cards. That's my goal for today. And I have some little stamped images here left from last year that I just put in a little clear seal envelope, and I'm going to cut them apart right quick and get them ready to go on to some of these cards maybe. I cut the branding strips off of this paper, and it says Hello Valentine, so I think I have several of those left also. And then there's just little bits and pieces. So I got out some punches. You know, I kind of like to do punches on this kind of a project. I also have some little sprinklets, and these were in the stash. I got them at the end of the year last year. Don't know where they came from. Sorry about that. But at any rate, I thought they were just adorable, and you can glue these onto some embellishments and just add a little extra texture. Let's get started. First of all, I think I'm going to cut some of this paper down into 5 by 3 3/4 size. So let me get that done. If you cut it by 5 by 3 3/4, you have these pieces are cut 6 by 12, so they're half sheets, but you have plenty of paper, and the 5 by 3 3/4 is a card layer in A2 size, so that makes it handy to have. So I'll get that finished up and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have 9 that are 5 by 3 3/4 and 1 that is 4 by 5 1/4 with a little tiny strip left off of that one because that used that piece of scrap up completely. Now I'm going to start with some of these smaller cubey type things, and what I want to do is to fix a little pusher for my punch, because none of these are big enough to really make any progress with in a punch. You just can't hold on to them long enough. But if you do something like this and put it on like that, then you have plenty of room that you can slip it down in this way, and that gives you a little tag then, and this becomes waste product. And I just keep on using this little guy and pushing them on up the scale there. So I want to use as much of this paper as I possibly can. There's a little blemish on this side, and that side's really not very usable, so I think I'll switch out to the 1-inch circle on this one. That way we'll get these little tiny pieces used up in one fashion or another. This one's kind of a star-shaped circle, and I believe that the little 1-inch will go on the inside of that. It will. So that's usable. I'll put this one in here, and then there's a little strip right here that I can harvest off of that as well. Normally I wouldn't be so conservative about paper, but I'm so challenged on this set that I just don't have near enough to fool with. So let me keep on cutting shapes out of this. I'm going to drop just a little more ATG on here. So I'll be back in just a minute and we'll see what I've got. Now it may seem kind of silly to harvest all these little tiny pieces, but look, you can take some little scraps like this, and see, this one says Happy Valentine's Day. I'm not sure you can see it well, but it came off the packaging. And so a little embellishment like that on the inside of a card, or even on the outside of a card, would be very cute. So that's what I'm working on today, is just some of these little tiny embellishments and some way to use up some of these. This is a process that can take some time, so I kind of like to start on a day when I don't have a lot of pressure, so that I don't feel like I have to do it all right this instant. And I think on these little piddly things like ephemera, that you can maybe just kind of relax and enjoy the process a little bit. It's always a good idea to do it that way. I think this little Hello Valentine will go nicely on that little partial tag, so I'm going to go ahead and start putting a few things together. And of course, you know, dimension is your friend in this process, so don't hesitate to foam some things up and bling some things, because those sorts of things make a big difference in how your outcome turns up. So there's a little tag done. I think I'm going to put this one together and put this little piece up on some foam. I know you all are probably all up into Christmas cards, but the way I work, I have to do a little bit ahead, because my Valentine card stuff has to be to the nursing home in time for them to have their little activity, their writing activity, and then get them in the mail. So, you know, there's kind of a lag time, which puts me kind of ahead of the main game of things. Sometimes I've already got all my Christmas card making supplies put away. Maybe something like that would be cute. And that just adds a little more substance to that little guy there for an embellishment. And we could put him up on top of that. You have to be a little careful about the kinds of things that you make for other people to send for Valentine's Day, like Kiss Me and those kinds of things can be misconstrued if they went out from the director of the senior center to someone inappropriately. So I try to help a little bit and watch my combination of things. Maybe that's old-fashioned, but it's just the way I am. And this works just fine that way. There we go, that's a nice little embellishment. Let's see what else we can do with this one. And I'm looking at this little heart piece back here. I'm going to use my corner chompers and take a 1/4 inch round off of this that will sort of match the rounds on that piece there. I'll poke this hole out. And I think I'll go ahead and put a little ribbon on that. It's red and black plaid. I think that'll look nice. So what I usually do is poke through on these, and then I'll come back and pull my little tails up around it. And then kind of snug them carefully so that I don't destroy what I'm working on there. There we go. And then I'll just angle my little tails. There we go. Pull a piece of foam up underneath that. Sometimes on these things you just have to get started and don't think too much about it, because if you do, you get stalled down, bogged down. Trust me on this, because it's really easy to do. Alright, let's see what else we can do here. Just looking for some colors that kind of coordinate a little bit. Here's one. Something like that. I think I'll do my little corner rounder treatment here. And I'm taking a little tiny embellishment and making it large enough to either be a focal point or to go on the inside of a card and give you a little inside treatment to use. Now if I had a little maybe a little flag that came out here. Yeah, I could do it that way. Okay. So let me put a little glue on here. Don't even need to cut that hole off, because it can be put right like that and completely covers up that little hole. I need to get it kind of squared up though, don't I? There we go. I think that's about right. And then I just cut me some little tails in here. And there we go. And I think I'll put a little red and white twine bow on that one. Just do the same thing. Push it through. Pull my tails back up. And then trim it off. Now on this one, that love has a little tiny heart on it. Let's see if I can get these things open without them flying all over everywhere. And put some out in my little Studio Katya tray here. There. I like to use these little tiny things like this just as a little accent. Let's see if it'll fit up on top of that little heart there. And give this just a little bit more pop of color. There. And there's 3. And I'm going to trim this down and not worry about the squiggly lines. And maybe I can get a little embellishment out of that, right like that. I think that'll be fine. What else have we got over here? That kind of works a little bit with that. Well, I'm going to round these corners. There we go. I think something like that will be cute. I'm going to elevate this piece up though. And there we go. Now I wonder about a little flag on that one. Maybe. I'll cut that in half since I don't need the whole thing. Glue bottle's your friend on these little types of things, because it gives you just a little extra time to wiggle things around and make sure they're where you want them to be. That would be cute with a little bow on it. Let's try to add one. Just a little single bow on this one. I'm going to roll my glue dot into a little wad and put it right here in the corner. There we go. What about that one and this one? XOXO. And happy Valentine's Day. I wonder if we could do a little more color here. Alright, I'm rolling around the corners on this one. And we'll put this down the middle. And this is part of the original paper, so the color should be perfect on that one. Then I'm going to put this little piece up on some foam. And then we'll trim these ends off when we figure out what we're doing with it later. So there's another one. Now let's see what else we've got. Love You Forever. Is there anything over here that we can put with that? This is kind of nice. I had a little extra couple of little pieces, so I just went ahead and made some little flowers with a little flower punch. So that would be okay. I'll put some gems inside of those. Alright, let's glue that one down. Put these up on a little piece of foam. What about this little plaid? Okay, I kind of like that. Let's see what we got going here. Make it a little asymmetrical. There we go. I might add this and put a little color on that that works with it. There. Okay. I saw this and wondered if we could add that down here. Yeah, I think so. Let's see what else we got. Let's see if we got a piece that'll go over the top of that. Oh, I like that. Let's see what else we've got now. Thinking about one of those Hello Valentine. Yep. Tail these ends a little bit. So you don't always have to use things the way they were intended when you have a big pile of mishmash like this. You can just keep adding other things to it. I'm going to put this up on a little bit of foam tape. Branding strips are really nice to have for this kind of project. Kind of put that in the center. That might be nice with a little tag on it. We'll set that aside for right now though and just see what we end up with later. Hello Valentine. How about that? I kind of like that. Maybe up here? Yeah. I like that. I'm just going to snag that in there. What about a little down here. And now, I wonder about some little flags maybe. Kind of come and go a little bit. Sort of like that, maybe. Or maybe just that way. Yep, I kind of like that. It just needed more bulk behind it than this little strip. Let's see if we can get this as wide as possible. There we go. Yep, all around the corners on this one. Elevate this up on some foam. Right down the middle there. There we go. Okay, I think that was 7. Let's see, what else do we have? How about smitten? I like that. We'll elevate this up and go right straight across the middle of that and tie these pieces together. There we are. Put a little glue on this one like we did that other one. Wonder if we like this side better. I think I kind of do. Okay, well, we'll just do it this way then. Use my little grid mat here to kind of get it squared up just a little bit. That I like. Let's go with that. Hello Valentine will work on that. Put just a little bit of glue and a little tiny piece of foam under that one. Maybe. And how about a little fringe with this one? These are some herb cutting scissors. Wonder about something. No, don't like that. I really wanted to use this, and it's just not working for me. Well, that's just the way it rolls sometimes. Let's do a count and see if I have my 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. With the smitten I do, so let's try to enlarge that just a tiny. How about that? Love is so sweet with you. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that one. Okay, we'll go with that. And slip this one right up in there and glue it down as well. What do we think? Yeah, I don't think it needs to be elevated. Let's do a little decorative edge on this one. There we go. I wonder if there's just a little more that we can add to that one to kind of balance the sides a little bit. We're getting down to the dregs here. Well, let's go with that. Okay, let's see. Let me clear this stuff out of the road here. I'm just going to get a tray because I'll put some of this inside of the cards still. Let's see if I can put a little pink heart, maybe a little white heart. Smitten. Oh, I like those. Take me forever to use that little container of hearts, won't it? Maybe another one over here. Yeah. There they are. Well, I had a little camera kibosh yesterday, and I guess my memory got full because I hadn't downloaded a previous video, and so I got cut off. And I thought rather than just end my little video abruptly, I would finish up what I was working on and let you see what the end result's going to be. Now, first of all, I got this little container here from the Dollar Tree, and what I usually do to tighten the lids is cut just a tiny piece of cardstock and glue it in there, and that keeps your lid where it doesn't come off quite as easily, because goodness knows we don't want to have these go all over the floor. So that's what I'm doing with those, and I actually have a second package of them that will fit in here as well, so they'll go back in my Valentine storage. And this is all that's left of those little scraps, and I'll try to use up some of it on the inside of these cards here. So let me show you. Oh, one more thing. This little tray that I used, you've seen me use it time and time again. It came from Studio Katia, K-A-T-I-A. It's called a triangle tray, and it's number SK2119. I use this thing all the time for little gems just to dump them out in, because it has a narrow little pour out where you can put stuff back into, like these little guys. It's just really easy. So if you need something like that, I can highly recommend that one. Okay, so I'm going to show you what these cards will end up looking like, and we'll come back after my surgery, because I want to show people that even though you can be temporarily disabled or have one hand, you can still make a lot of progress on card making. I know some folks get into a situation where they've been in an accident or they've been hurt, and they just feel like they can't do anything anymore. And sometimes that's very true, but sometimes if you have a little plan, you can make some progress on your cards. So I want to show you what these are going to look like, and then I'll put them together in another little video. So this is the one with the sweetheart on it and the fringe. And what I'll do then is put my little insides in there, and then here is the next one. Now I added a little white space underneath this embellishment because the background paper was so wild, and I think it turned out just fine, and it's a very usable card. Now I added a few little red hearts on that as well. And then see, I just slipped this in here, and that makes this a little single unit that I can pick up and work with, and I've got all my little bits and pieces in there then. So this is the one that has the one that we covered up the sentiment that we didn't like, and it's got Hello Valentine on the front. I have just a piece of some of that Stampin' Up paper there, and this will go right in the middle of that card and be done. Here's another one. And so this is the heart paper, and then this is that little embellishment. Now I went back and added some extra bulk to this and added a little white background to make it bump up off of that heart background, because it would have been lost if I had left it small like that. I added a few more scraps of paper and a little black edge around that scrap piece of white, And then I also added this little heart in there. So that one's good to go. Got this same little Stampin' Up! Paper background, some white, added a little flag and a little tiny piece that I cut out of this packaging that says love is all you need. I put a little color on that teacup there, and I put some gems on these two little flowers, and it's good to go. Let's see, oh, here's the smitten one, remember it now. And I did a little piece of white space background there, and I added just a little strip in here of some scrap paper and another little white heart and a little paired up pink heart that I found in there, and I think that card is very roadworthy. Here's another one. Now on this one I used a piece of white paper, and I used my little magnetic mat here and my magnet ruler, and just use these little grid lines to draw some gray lines on there, because part of this Echo Park paper had some lines on it, and I see that they're actually brown now than gray, but I'm not going back and change that. So there's another one. Now I may go back in, I think I will do it right now, use my little corner rounder, make sure I get the right side, and that kind of coordinates your card front just a little bit more on a little situation like this where the paper is not exactly coordinated. And see, then it just kind of all pulls together that way. It looks much better, doesn't it? All right, let's see what this one is. Oh, I used a little corrugated on this, added some white space. This one would be nice to add a few little flowers to, and I may go back and do that. But just that little plain white corrugated makes a nice little break off of this paper here. I'll set this one aside because I think I've still got some paper over in here that I can punch out some more flowers on. Now this is that one, remember, that we had the postage. I did the same kind of thing here with the gray striped, and I used my other chomper. Which one is it now? It is the stub side of this one, and chomped the white space as well as the topper, and so that kind of coordinates that whole card for me. There we go. Got one more, and that will be 10. And here we go. So this is that one that had the purple candy in it, and it was kind of a strange little divergence from that Echo Park paper, and I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to work with it. And then I realized I had this little piece of purple stripe, and let's see what you think. I made a white space, put a little black edge around it to help break it, and I've got a little purple ribbon band here that will go all the way across the card. Well, if my klutzy fingers would work today. And then this goes on top, right like that. And I think that'll tie the purple from the odd paper into this little topper that I made. I went back and cut this little flag here off of the packing material, and it actually matches this original little tag that was on it that I cut off to use for something else. But so there we go. That's all 10 of them, and you will be seeing this again when I go back and try to make them all one-handed. I got all 55 of them ready to make. Some of them are already done, where Peggy and I went through the other day and tried to check out some patterns. So let me show you those right quick. Here's one. Here's one. These are all card sketch patterns, and so we'll be talking again a little bit about that. This is part of a big stamp here, and it is Love Collage. It's a 1999 stamp, and I've got it mounted so where I can pull it off and use it on my MISTI although I don't think I did that time. So much for listening to myself. And then this is the final one that we did, and those are all, like I said, card sketches, and we'll be having some duplicates of those with the card sketch numbers to give you an idea. This is going to go, some of it you'll see on the inside. I don't exactly know how, what, when, or where. And I'm going to make some flowers for that one. So you all have a great day and a wonderful week. And I will be doing another video this Sunday, but I probably won't be doing one next Thursday. And I'll come back as soon as I can. And so I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye, y'all.